Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, it's been about 2 weeks since I put out a video due to weather conditions on the weekend. I've been selling nukes for the last couple weeks and I'm just about done that. Today I'd like to get into the hives that we were working on in the last video. I want to get in there, check for queen cells, see whether or not adding supers to relieve the congestion out of the single brood chamber brood box alleviates the need for swarming amongst the bees. I have spot checked these hives through the evenings through the middle of the week when the weather was nice, and they do have, most of them have a super of nectar. And I've added some boxes to certain hives due to either the amount of bees in the box or whether or not they have filled up that one super of nectar. There are several hives that have not done that, and the bee population is not quite as strong as like the first hive that I showed in my video for 2023. So let's get into the hives today. Something that I might do is, if I do see cells that I'm going to do a demary. Last year, what I did was I equalized the hives where I took about half of the capped brood out of each hive on a bi-weekly basis thereabouts, and added that to the weaker hives. And that way you set the bee population back a little bit to where they did not have the congestion and they did not swarm for the last 2 years. This year I was trying to regulate the population by giving them more space with honey supers, and if that doesn't work out, then what I'm going to do is the demary method, where I will put a brood box of capped brood on top of the hive, let the bees migrate up to it to cover it, and put empty frames back down in the brood chamber area so she can continue to lay, and hopefully that will reduce the swarm impulse. So let's get into the hives. All right, everyone, we're here at the hive that I videoed in my last video. We're going to go ahead and open this hive up. It's got 2 supers, the white ones here, a queen excluder, and we have 2 mediums down here, which are our brood chamber. I have to go over here and get my hive tool. So the bees are in the top box. What I'm going to do is take these 2 supers off and set them over here on top of an lid that's upside down. Capture any bees that fall out of the supers. I want to check them here. Definitely got some white wax. I think I'm going to put another super, but it'll be foundation. Let them draw out some wax for me. Always good to have new wax for honey supers. And they are filling this top box with honey for sure. It's definitely full for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and put the inner cover back on for right this moment. Get down to the second honey box, see what we got. Judging by the weight, it is pretty full. It's pretty nice. As far as this earlier, and as early as it is, it's April the 16th. And they're putting some nectar into this. I find it kind of odd that instead of putting nectar directly above the queen excluder, they put it actually in the top super. I'll go ahead. This one's got some weight about it, not as much as the first one. I'm going to cover that box up. And grab my smoker here. Kind of calm the bees down a little bit. We have had some really aggressive bees here for the last couple of weeks. And not just in my yard, but in other people's yards in the surrounding counties here in Maryland and also in Pennsylvania. They've been talking about it on Facebook and different club meetings. I want to go in here and see what the queen's doing. We got brood. We do have some cups, but they're not charged. And we do have a queen cell right there that was charged. I'm going to go here and tip this box up. See what's going on. And yes, we definitely have queen cells, queen cups throughout the top box. So the method of putting more supers on to relieve the pressure in the hive doesn't seem to be working here. So what I will do is I will pull the cap brood out of this box, at least half of it, put it in another box, put empty brood frames back in, and then put the honey supers on, and then put the cap brood that I took out of this box up on top of the stack. The bees will cover it, it will hatch out, it will relieve the pressure of swarm pressure down in the brood box here, hopefully. And hopefully that'll be like using a equalization method. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and set this down right here for now. I like to sit here and check the bottom box just to make sure what's going on. We got definitely a box of bees here. We got some swarm cells down in here too. There's one right there. So, we're going to have to go through this box and try to equalize it by taking the brood frames out, put some empties in, and then put those brood frames up on top of the stack. Hopefully that will take care of the situation. So I will go ahead and get that done, and I'll bring you back. Well, everyone, we've got the hive back together now. I've got the 2 brood chambers here in yellow, queen excluder, 2 honey supers. The purple box is my secondary brood chamber. Now what I did was I found about 5 fully capped brood frames in the bottom. I went through all the frames, did not find as many queen cells as I thought. I did find one frame that had a nice developed queen cell, and I actually took that and put it in a nuke that was queenless, let them utilize that queen cell. And I took about 5 frames of cap brood with no eggs that I could see up here in the top box. And then the rest of it, I went ahead and I filled it out with foundation. So I don't want them to fill my brood comb up that's empty with nectar. So I figured, well, let them build me some comb while they're up there. And it is full from the bottom to the top with bees at this time. I might just go ahead and maybe put another super of foundation on there and let them build wax for me. So hopefully this will maintain the hive from swarming and reduce the swarming impulse, and also of course give me plenty of honey for the season. Now it is April the 16th and our honey season is just started. I'm going to say our main flow is in May when the locust trees and the poplar trees bloom. And then it winds down by the end of June and it's pretty much done by July 1. So that's what I'm going to do to the rest of these hives today. I did spot check some of them and they did have some swarm cells or they had empty cups. So I think I'm going to go back to my equalization strategy of no swarming. That's been a proven thing for me for the last 2 years. I have a couple hives here that are a little on the weak side. I'm going to pull some brood out of these other strong hives, put it in that weaker hive and build them up. And then the ones who are really strong and I don't really have a place for the brood, I will do the same method here, the demary method. We're putting the hive's cap brood up on top. It's a bit of work, but I actually increase my honey production by at least 50%. And that's what it's all about as far as making honey. And if you have a swarm, your honey production goes down for that season. And our season is quite short, only about 3 months. So until next time, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share my videos with your friends, and have fun with your bees.